Hello, 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 and welcome back to Prandada Prim, live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. I'm so excited. I'm going to give people a few minutes to come on before we introduce Princess. But while we're giving people a few minutes to come on, this is your go-to channel for all things Tantra and sacred sexuality. So my mission is to really talk about sex, talk about all kinds of things to really get rid of this taboo, get rid of the whole stigma of talking about sex and sexuality and all of these different things. And so today we're going to be talking about Yoni steaming, but yes, we're connecting it to sex because Yoni steaming helps you to feel sexier. If you feel sexier, you have better sex. So, so we're still waiting for people to come on. I'm just gonna type really quick for people as they come on. Welcome and say hello when you come on. And I really want you to be able to feel comfortable to ask any questions that you may have. So as you're coming on, hello, 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 say hello, say yes, type in yes if you have ever had a Yoni steam, type in curious if you're curious to know what Yoni steaming is, and welcome, welcome, welcome. So I see people coming on, so yes, hello and welcome, Princess of the founder of Yoni Throni, and I love that name. Can you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Princess, and as you said, amongst other things, I am the founder of Yoni Throni, Yoni Steaming Thrones. And basically, I make Yoni steam thrones. So I facilitate the process of you getting your Yoni steam on. And as well as I'm also a body worker, so I've been a massage therapist, body worker for the last 15 years. I'm also a musician. A lot of things, but I'm also a language interpreter. But today we will bring all of this back to sex. One of my favorite subjects, and bring it back to Yoni steaming, which is something that I believe every woman should be familiar with. Whether you have some type of issue or not, you should know the benefits of it, and you should try it more than once.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So before we start getting into the Yoni steaming, I do have to say, Princess and I met in Salvador, Brazil, Bahia, and she has an amazing voice. And she's been on The Voice in Brazil. What?
What a ride that was. That was a ride.
So we're going to have you come back another time on my YouTube so that you could sing on another day, not on a Wednesday when we're talking about all things sexuality. Okay. But yeah, so
but I do want to sing during sex, just so you know.
Right.
I sing.
I love Princess because she's just as crazy as I am. So
I do sing. I do.
It's so interesting that you started working with the Yoni steams because when I knew you in Brazil, like we had never really even talked about this, and even when I knew you, I wasn't even doing tantra. So we're both doing things that are so completely different and new from that lifetime ago when we knew each other in Salvador. Like how crazy!
That was, Salvador, a lot of times I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe. I don't even feel like I have my same life. I have one life here, I have one life there. And so when I'm there, it's always focused. The focus is always music. And I don't usually do massage when I'm out there because I do it so much here. That's kind of like when I go out there, I just kind of want to relax. And so when I met you, like I was just doing music all the time. So I was just overwhelmed with that whole lifestyle. And you know, I come out a little bit, but because of going on that show, it kind of messed up my ability to move around because too many people knew who I was. So it was very it was very interesting, and it made me kind of like a hermit a little bit. Like I really didn't want to relate with so many people because of the demands. Everybody wanted a picture, everybody wanted to talk about the show, and it was just like, I just want to relax. I just want to chill. So,
Right.
I mean, but I've always been, you know, I've been a body worker for a long time. So I've always been in the natural health, holistic scene, you know, steaming, whether it's my whole body or just my vagina.
Yeah.
You know, using natural things on my body, from, you know, charcoal toothpaste to, you know, all the butters. So holistic care is just a part of who I am. And using herbs and natural products, or making natural products, has just always been a part of my lifestyle. But it's nice going into specifically doing the Yoni steaming and making the Yoni Thrones, because it's just another area where I get to show kind of my creativity and, you know, what I can bring to the field.
Yes. And I just want to say, welcome, Reigning Woman. Thank you for
Hi,
coming
Reigning Woman.
on. Yes. And Reigning Woman says yes.
I love that name, Reigning Woman.
Don't you love that name?
That is awesome.
Yes, that is a goddess name if I've never heard myself.
That is. I love it.
So welcome to those who are coming on. Yes, if you've done Yoni steaming, type yes. So I have to say, it's interesting because when I lived in the States, I had never done Yoni steaming. I had never heard of Yoni steaming. And maybe I just wasn't into like the whole healthcare, you know, and natural alternative things. And so it wasn't until living in Brazil and Salvador, you know, I started seeing an iridologist. And so I was studying iridology, which is the reading of the iris, all kinds of things with that. Like you could see what health issues a person has. And so the lady who I was training with, she also she did Yoni steam, and she had a neem plant tree in her where she lived. And I was getting like recurring bacterial infections in my yoni. Like, and I don't know, like, I think it was the heat. My body wasn't adjusting to the heat and going to the beach so often, and you know, the wet bikinis and all of that stuff. And so I just kept getting infections. And so she introduced it to me there in Salvador. So I was doing the steaming with the neem leaves. And oh my God, like, it felt so good. Like, so good. That steam felt so good.
Yeah.
And it stopped, like completely stopped those infections. And I was like,
it's antibacterial. Neem is very good. It's a very powerful plant. Neem will clean you out. Like whether you take it through a steam or whether you ingest it, neem will get all the funk out your body. The bacteria
is nasty.
It is powerful.
Bitter. Plant. So if you like bitter, it's okay. But it's very bitter. And she would give it to us, make a thing like you can make it in either an alcohol like a wine or grape juice. Oh, Reigning Woman says, oh, the neem. It will cleanse you and horny.
Whenever I took neem, I would take it right before I went to bed. So that I would go to sleep and I wouldn't have to taste it. Because you know, once it's in your mouth, it's so hard to get that taste out. You'd be like,
yeah. Oh my God.
So I would do it right before I went to bed. I was like,
did it make you horny?
Maybe I was asleep. I might have been horny, but I was it was like horny or get this taste out of my mouth.
Right.
I'm sleeping. I'm gonna get this taste out of my mouth.
So I don't know if it made me horny because I'm always horny. Like aroused easily, and I get wet easily. TMI. But anyways,
no, but that's amazing. Like that's amazing. I wouldn't say neem made me horny because like I also do have a good drive. Like she up, she ready. Yeah. But yeah, let me not get into my sex too.
Flashbacks here. She get all flashback, losing her composure.
Right?
So yeah, so ever since then, and I remember, ever since then, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, this Yoni steaming is it. It is it. And so you said you've always done like steaming, your vagina, your body, like.
Well, from the last 5 years. The last 5 years, yes.
Oh, the last 5 years. Okay. So what was the first time you steamed that vajayjay? Like what happened? Like how did you get into that?
Well, actually, I had been wanting to do it for a while before that. We had been going to the Korean spa and I loved it. But every time I went, the line for it was just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So, I would put my name, but it was just too much. And I'm like, I don't want to wait around for this. So I would do other things. And it just so happened that the stars aligned when I was there, and I went on a slow night, and it was great. It was actually just me and one of my girlfriends, and we just sat there talking. She had done it before. And we just sat there talking. Like we was chilling. The lady was bringing us tea. We was like, hey, this tea nasty, but this steam is nice.
Yeah. The tea was so good.
The tea was some type of, it tastes like barley. It was some type of herb, but it wasn't that tasty. But I drank it. It was cold, But I remember afterwards just feeling my body moving around. And I remember before I had gone in, my cycle was a little off. Like it wasn't coming on like it was supposed to. And I didn't feel my ovulation. I always feel my ovulation. So I didn't feel it. And I was just like, something's wrong. And I know at the time I had been going through a little bit of a stressful period. So I went and tried it, and it was like, I immediately felt like that night I could feel my uterus contracting. And I went to sleep. I had a really good night's sleep. And I got up and I still kind of felt it lightly contracting. And I remember my cycle, it just came on like, it was perfect. And then the next month it was regular. So I was like, okay, there's something to this steaming thing, because that was my issue all through my adolescence. Like when I got my cycle, I always had a regular cycle. So there would be some years where I would go and only have 3 to 4 cycles a year, which as a kid, I didn't mind. But on the flip side, I never knew when it would appear.
So, it's interesting. I had that same issue when I was an adolescent, very irregular periods. And I remember going to the gynecologist at like 15, 16 years old. And, he recommended birth control pills. Yep. And I'm like, so they recommend birth control pills to get you regulated. And, thank God I had some kind of sense at that age. And I was like, I'm not getting on birth control pills. Yeah. I'm like, why do I want to get on birth control pills? Like when he explained it, it was like, he said whatever about the hormones and it's going to help to regulate. And I was like, no, that's okay. So I told him no. I'm like, well, I mean, if I'm getting it 4 or 5 times a year, like I'm not going to complain. Like, that's okay. I'm not going to take this. I get it once a month. I mean, as long as you're saying that everything is okay within me, I'm not going to start taking birth control pills. And the next thing you know, I'm taking it for how many years, and then it causes issues. And that's one of my, main problems that I have with traditional medicine. And it's not to say that I don't go to traditional medicine. I'm not telling people to not go to a regular doctor. I'm not saying not to go to gynecologist, but they're going to give you medications to try to solve something when there's lots of natural ways that you can solve it as well. Exactly. Like, so it's like, why take birth control pills when you can do steaming? And that's going to help regulate your menstrual cycle. And it's going to help regulate, help reduce the cramp. It has so many benefits. And, and I have a client right now that I've been working with who has endometriosis. And so, I've been working with her on the endometriosis, and she's taking birth control pills to help with that. But she's taking birth control pills and she's still spotting, bleeding every day, still having like tons of cramps. And I said, let's work together and stop doing the birth control pills. And then let's take a good 4 months and see what happens. I've been doing, the tantric therapy with her, breath work, affirmations, doing a lot of guided visualizations, all of these different things, and did recommend the Yoni steaming to her. And her cycle went to normal. And she's like, Yeah, I have a reckless too. I'm not going back on the birth control pills.
Yeah.
You know? So what are some of the other benefits that you've seen since you've been like, so first and foremost, Princess makes Yoni Steams. So you have to go to her Instagram page and you have some pictures on there.
Yes, I have pictures. The Instagram is Yoni Throni. And I do have pictures on there of the stools. And we do have herbs too. I haven't added those yet, but I do have the herbs.
Yeah, so you can't buy a Yoni Steam and do this in your house at time. And so I think that's amazing. I think that's good. What I did once I started doing it, I was just using a pot. I use stainless steel because from my research it said not to use that's
no plastic.
No plastic. So I use stainless steel. And I would heat up the water. I would put the herbs in there. The good thing about being in Brazil is very easy to find different herbs and different things like that. And so I would do it, and I would just kind of squat over that, and it was uncomfortable. Like it was hard to do it for like a good 20 to 30 minutes. So having your own Yoni throne from Yoni Throni is more comfortable, and it's much better. I do want to say we have a man on here. Hello, Kamikaze. Hola, Jorge. He's from Chile.
He's from where?
Hi, he's from Chile.
Hi,
and hola, ¿cómo estás? Jorge, Kamikaze.
Exquisito.
Exquisito.
Wait, is that Portuguese exquisito or is
Spanish exquisito?
Or is that Spanish exquisito? Spanish. Because in Portuguese, exquisito is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's like that's weird, strange.
Exquisito es extraño. En portugués. Cuidado.
Yes. So, since we have a guy on here, there's a thing called anal steaming.
Yes.
So men anal steam. Let's talk about that real quick. I do tend to have a lot of guys come on, and I don't know if any other guys are on here. If there's any other guys on here, hola para los hombres. There's tienes steaming fumación para los hombres también. Gracias. Vaporización en español para los hombres. So Amy says, I came on late. Explain Yoni and the benefits. Okay. So before we go into the men, because that's going to be real quick, can you explain the Yoni and the benefits? So Yoni, first and foremost, means vagina in Sanskrit. Sacred portal.
Well, literally it means womb, but
well, that might be a different thing, but from the Sanskrit, with Tantra, it means sacred space. But it doesn't.
Yeah, like the womb, so we use it for all the reproductive organs down there. So the vulva, the cervix, the whole sacred space, the whole womb area. So you can't go wrong.
Okay, and some of the benefits. So go ahead and talk about the benefits of steaming.
The benefits of steaming, easing tough periods. So women who have a lot of cramps, you have, it's beneficial for menopausal women, for the hot flashes, for the vaginal dryness. It's beneficial to clean out the uterine space for women who are trying to conceive. Because a lot of times with conception, one of the biggest things that prevents women from getting pregnant is the uterus is not able, the embryo is not able to implant because there's excess tissue that hasn't been released from prior cycles. So with steaming, you're using different herb blends to clean the surface of the uterus so that you can get, a strong implantation for fertility purposes. For women who have irregular periods, there's different herbs that you can take to bring on your cycle to keep it regular. For toning the uterus, for toning the vagina. Everyone needs that. Women who suffer from prolapse when the muscles inside of the vagina are weakened. So the herbs also help to tone the vagina, tone the uterus. It's helpful with women who have bleeding between cycles. So there are so many benefits, and just being clean, just the steam is cleaning that area inside and out of, bacteria and anything on the inside that shouldn't be there, especially in the case of like endometriosis, where you have extra tissue growing in places where it's not supposed to be. It's really beneficial for it to go, for the certain herb blends to go up there and break down those tissues and let them be expelled during your cycle.
Right. And so also I want to add, it's also really good for if you have painful intercourse or vaginismus, because a lot of times I work with women who have vaginismus and they have just really painful intercourse.
Yeah.
And what you need to do is be able to relax yoni muscles. And so when you do the steaming, it really helps to relax. I have a lot of women who, have painful intercourse and they try to automatically go to doing the Kegel exercises, PC exercises, and it will worsen it. And so I always tell them, no, you have to relax it first. You have to learn how to relax. So doing the steam is really good. Doing breath work, and I go through different relaxations, and then after that, you can start doing Kegel exercises to help with the pain. But
because vaginismus is like when it's spasming, right? If I remember correctly,
it's spasming, and then it hurts. So sometimes you can't even a penis can't even go in because it can shut completely. So yeah, and Raining Woman also says it's also good to help cleanse energy from previous sexual partners.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. We're getting everything out.
Yeah, everything out. It's so good. It's so good because there's specific herbs that you can use depending on what you want to do. And so that's really, really good. I have never used it to cleanse for previous partners. Raining Woman, what herbs would you use to do that? Because I really would love to know about that. Generally, I've done like an egg. There's a whole cleansing you can do with egg and garlic, not together, separate.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have stuff after that? You have to go down after the garlic.
Yeah. So great. We're getting some questions. So Amy says, what are risks? Does it rid your normal flora? That's a great question.
No, it should not rid your body of your normal flora. I only recommend doing it for 30-minute increments. Of course, you can do longer, but I recommend 30 minutes. So it's not going to mess with your pH balance like that. So no, your normal flora should be fine. I would imagine if there was some type of interruption, it would be from steaming too long and at too high a temperature. Because really, you don't need a high temperature for the yoni steaming to work. And I use a crock pot in my steamer, and I keep it on low. I don't put it up to high. We don't need to have steam coming all out your ears. So it should be a very light steam. You don't need a lot. So if somebody's having some flora issues, I would imagine they're doing too hot and for too long.
I also want to add, like, it's important. You don't want to add essential oils.
Yes.
Oh, I love essential oils.
No.
So that could cause a burning or irritation to the yoni area, the genital area. Yeah.
Because it's so concentrated, people don't realize how much. It's like 10 times the normal amount, of what could be up there. It's so concentrated. No, essential oils are
definitely not. Also, it's not something I wouldn't do. It's not recommended to do when you're on your period.
No.
It'll make you bleed more heavily. I think those are the big things. Not to use it when you're on your period. Not to add other essential oils. Yeah, and like what Princess said, also not if you have an IUD. So if you use an IUD, don't use that. If you have any questions and you have like some specific issues, you can, definitely contact an herbalist or holistic practitioner. But generally speaking, there's not really risk involved. It's just like, like we're saying here, not to use it with your period, not to use it if you have an IUD. Obviously, if you have like a fever or having like hot flashes, because it's just going to make you hotter, you're not going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be really uncomfortable. So those are the big things. Or if you have an infection, definitely do not use if you have an infection or anything like that. And so Rainy Woman added on as well, don't use oils. So we were saying don't use the oils, perfumes. So we got another question here. How often should a post-menopausal woman yoni steam?
Unless there's a specific issue, is the post-menopause, so you're not having cycles at all. So I would imagine, a couple times a month, if there's no specific issue going on. If you're having a dryness issue, once a week. You can go twice a week. That would have to be more personal, because I would like to know, if there's any specific issue going on. Is there a dryness issue? Is there a hot flashes? Because if not, you could do it once a week.
Yeah, I definitely say, like, I agree, with what you're saying. I definitely think that your first time is always good to like work with someone who can see your body and recommend. I know people who do almost daily or every other day,
you can always do more, but I like to stay on the safe side. If I don't know your specific issue, I'm like once a week.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. It's best to stay on the safe side, because you can't necessarily say you can do it every day or just once a week. Once a week is not going to hurt you. The thing is, when you have your cycles, you don't want to do it when you're on your cycles.
No.
But if you're not having cycles, you're postmenopausal, you can do it. I mean, there's no problem. But I definitely recommend, at least, seeing a holistic practitioner and seeing what she recommends for your specific body, getting a test, getting checked out. Like, I'm big on that, because I tend to do things with holistic practitioners. Like I said, my first Yoni Steaming was with an iridologist she wasn't just an iridologist. She was a holistic practitioner, very much a naturopathic doctor, and specialized in various different things. And so she looked at my body. I had another, when I lived in the States, when I was just getting into this, I saw a naturopathic doctor. She would have me do like just different testing to test my hormones, because that's what they at different levels, and not just what your traditional doctor would see. And we would get the pH balance and all of that. So it was really good to just kind of get regulated. I'm not big on people just saying, "Oh, I want to do this, so I'm going to go through Amazon and order herbs and then start doing it on my own." With this specifically, I can't imagine how it would hurt you. So you can do that, but I don't tend to recommend that. I'm always like, go to someone you trust, talk to someone, even if it's someone like Princess, who sells the Yoni Throni, the Yoni steams. She has the packages with the herbs. Someone who you trust, or who's been recommended, who can talk to you about it. Queen Afua has a great book, Sacred Woman. She talks about different herbs for different things. So, I read her book and I got different herbs from there to do my Yoni steaming. So we're going on beyond your question, Nyla.
Well, I mean, it's good information. So,
Nyla, are you Dr. G that I just spoke to tonight about doing a live with you in September? So I was just talking to Dr. G, whose first name is Nyla. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Because when you don't meet someone and you don't hear them pronounce their name, you don't know if you're pronouncing it correctly. And I was telling her to watch us tonight for the on the Yoni steaming, and she started asking, "What are the benefits?" So I was like, "You got to come and watch so you can know the benefits." So
I do sell the herbs, by the way, Night. She just asked the question. Yes, I do sell the herbs, and I sell the Yoni steam stools, so you're able to steam in your house.
Okay, good. And I was just about to ask you about that, and I didn't even see her question. So you sell the herbs. What are some of the herbs that you sell? How do you sell them? Because quite honestly, I haven't seen the packages, so I don't know. Like, do you sell?
I should have brought one there. I can grab one. You talk for a second.
Okay, go ahead and go grab one. Go ahead. So cool. So yeah, different types of herbs for different things. So I would love to see her little kit. And I know that like in Queen Afua's book, she talked about how cinnamon is really good for you. Oregano is really good. So there's so many different types of herbs that you can use that has different benefits. So like basil is really good because that helps to move fluid. Rosemary is a great antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. All right, so she's back with her herbs. Let's see how they look.
Wait, hold on, I just dropped. Because my herbs come with a little spoon.
Oh, cool.
So my herbs are made by a sister company, Cowrie Flour. And so we come with a little spoon. And you see all the beautiful herbs. And we're developing more blends. This is just a basic blend for toning and for just feeling sexy. So we have, hold on, let me put this spoon back on here because it fell off. So this blend is very, it's lavender, it's rose, it's motherwort, it's calendula. It's a very basic blend that anyone can use. It'll help with easing cramps. It'll help with toning, and it'll help you smell and taste really good.
Ooh. Yes, like but that.
We're developing some other blends also. Menopausal blend and a fertility blend are on the way. Because just so everyone knows, this is a brand new company. So we'll be having more things coming along. So if you follow me on IG, and then I'll have my website up soon, and we'll have some more stuff for you guys to check out.
Yes. So Naila, okay, she wrote the pronunciation.
Oh, thank you.
Naila, beautiful, beautiful name. So, because I was like, I didn't know if it was Naila, because I have someone in my family named Naila. So anyway, yeah. So there's many different types of herbs, different blessings. Good evening, NC Worker. Welcome back. Thank you for coming on again. So yeah. So NC Worker, I started talking earlier because this is another guy. So we're talking about Yoni Steaming. So if you have a woman, this is great information for her. But also, this can be, there's anal steaming for men. So I do want to talk about how the Yoni steaming can help you feel sexy, how it can help your sex drive. But really quick, I want to go into, let's talk about the anal because we were going to talk about it before. What is anal steaming for men?
Okay, and
on here. Say yes if you would get your ass steamed.
I would all say yes, just to be clean. Like if nothing else, steam it out, baby.
Yes, because I think that there's a lot of men that might, there's a whole homophobic thing, and so that not all men, have that, but that I could see that possibly being an issue. So there might be like, if that feels good. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that if a man should eventually get to the place where he's comfortable with his entire body, because I mean, your anus is your anus. It doesn't mean if you find pleasure in it that you like men. I'm a woman. I date men. I've dated men who like anal pleasures. They were not gay, but it's a pleasure center. So unfortunately, there's that taboo. But I'm like, but steaming is wonderful. Steaming is really good. Has shown some ability to shrink prostate. So people who have prostate issues, they have enlarged prostate. steaming can benefit them in shrinking that down. So all men should have some type of interest in that, especially over 50. You know, when they start having to check on it regularly, like there's a lot.
They have family history of prostate cancer.
Yeah. And some don't have cancer, but maybe they just have it enlarged for whatever reason. I know I had a friend of mine last year that was having some issues in that area with like varicose veins. And this is something that would help with that. It's going to increase the circulation and lower the amount of congestion in the area in general, which congestion in any area is when disease can enter. Whenever you have an energetic stagnancy, that's when disease can enter. So steaming your anus can just kind of keep the junction in movement instead of letting everything get stagnant. So I think all men should check it out. I mean, luckily for the gay men, they're like, okay, but all men should check it out. It also helps with hemorrhoids. Some people who are not having a proper diet and are not going regularly and are constipated, hemorrhoids is something that they're probably familiar with because you're trying to get that waste out, but you're not giving your body enough fiber for it to come out. So it definitely helps relieve hemorrhoids also. It's also just relaxing.
Yeah.
You know? Steaming is relaxing. Like you get the sleep after a steam. I steamed last night. I slept amazingly. And I have literally for the last couple of weeks been waking up every day at 4 a.m. Like no lie. And last night I slept through the whole night. I was like, that's nice.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's so relaxing. It is so relaxing.
Yes. It's so relaxing. Also, another thing with the A-steam, because of the ability for it to shrink the prostate, because of the ability for it to improve the circulation, people who have issues with their urine stream, people who are not able to fully, get all the urine out, it helps with that also. So these are real things that people, not even just older people, people in their 20s and 30s sometimes deal with it. So it's, and keeping it clean. I like the clean one. Yes, shrinking of the hemorrhoids. Yes, it does work for that. It does work for shrinking of the hemorrhoids, Nyla.
Yes. So, and so, for the men, just kind of going back to that real quick, just the last thing, nothing goes up the hole, nothing goes up the booty hole, just steam. So, it's very relaxing. You feel good. There's just a lot of benefits. So, if you have a curiosity to try it out, try it out. Like, it won't hurt. So.
And it's really like a misnomer by them calling it a steam. I understand why, but it's really a perineum steam because your testicles are there too. It's that whole junction between your testicles and your anus. It's not just your anus.
And in a sense for women too, like when we're sitting on a steam, is getting all in there too, like the anus, our perineum, our vajayjay, so it's getting all that, the whole vulva area, and it's just relaxing. All of that, and
it's nice. And let's talk about sex after that. Like,
that's where I'm ready to go to.
Like,
yes,
steaming, and then having your boo there, and then them getting some hot loving. I mean, who doesn't want hot loving, hot juicy loving?
Right.
Hot juicy loving. That's amazing.
And not even if you're single, if you're single, masturbating right after. Because what happens is it relaxes your entire body. Yes. So then when you have sex or you masturbate right after steaming, your body's so relaxed. And because you're relaxed, you have higher chances of being able to have orgasms. Yeah. You're in a relaxed state. You allow yourself to just surrender and you let go. So you can have more intense orgasms and you feel more pleasure. You really get to that state of bliss, whether you're masturbating or having sex with your partner. So,
and I mean, just sitting on the throne with your legs apart, I like to open my lips too. I like to open.
Get off in there, relax it off.
I like to bust it open. And so being in that, sitting there and having soft music, I turn the light, make the lights dim, have my soft music, I'm just relaxing. Like you feel sexy. Like I feel like something, like have some Sade playing in the background. Like it just makes you feel sexy. So people who have issues with libido, or maybe they're just running, and they can't get into the state of mind of just, being sexy, or, just being in their body. It's also a way for us to connect back with our bodies and connect back with our entire bodies, not just our genitals, although genitals are nice.
Right.
Just really connect back with our entire bodies, and just remember that, this body is, it has a lot of pleasure areas and a lot of capabilities for me to feel pleasure, not necessarily just in my genitals, but it just
Let's talk about
you back into your body.
Yes, let's talk about that. And Miss August said, LOL. I think something you said that was funny. So it was so yeah, our entire body is orgasmic. It's her body.
Yeah.
So what happens is we focus so much on the genitals that the rest of our bodies go dormant. And so when we begin to connect to our sensual side, our sensuality, be it through maybe like tantric massage, different touch, using different different types of material to touch your body, like feathers, silk, satin, and just stimulating your entire body, relaxing with this Yoni steam, you can get to the point where you can multi-orgasmic. You feel pleasure in your entire body. Like, oh my God, like I can have orgasms from someone touching my head, the palms of my feet, my hands. Like our entire body is orgasmic. And so the more and more that we awaken our sensuality, the more and more that we awaken these other areas, we can begin to feel pleasure and be multi-orgasmic. Our body's just incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. Our bodies are incredible. And if you need, if you are feeling a little sluggish in the libido area, there's herbs that you can throw in there. You can throw in an herb called Damiana, which is a natural aphrodisiac. And you can throw a little peppermint. Peppermint invigorates the whole body. Ginkgo biloba, that invigorates the whole body. That's a natural aphrodisiac also. So there's some things in nature to help you along. But if you feel like, you're just kind of like, I don't want to, especially sometimes women, once they're, in the post-menopause state, sometimes they're just not feeling sexy. But nature has things to bring you back. Brings you back, ladies.
I like that.
So with the herbs and with the general relaxation of the steam, it should just let you slowly get back into your body. You can just, sometimes I sit on my stand, just kind of like rub myself, just rub my arms, and, just get back into touching every part. It's so important. Massage therapists, by working with people who are sometimes just for getting massage, they're just kind of tense up. They want it, they know they need it, but they're just like tense. And I have to, talk them down, like, it's okay, just relax. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
there's anything ever uncomfortable, you just let me know. You can tell me, you know, lighten up. You can tell me go slower. You can, but I don't want you to tense up because you're not in any danger. So a lot of us, you know, because of our jobs or just because of our lifestyle, we're just kind of, you know, go. And then, of course, we get home and then we're expected to just be this sexy vixen. And
I know.
it doesn't always work like that. So we have to have the transition. And I love the Yoni Steam as a transition from you being out in the day to day. And then now it's like your me time. Like,
And that's so important, you know, that having that me time. You also said something, what I really like. Nature has everything to bring us back to ourselves, bring us back to our being connected to ourselves, being relaxed, you know, finding that peace. I mean, nature has everything we need. It really, really does, you know. And I think that is so important as well for us to have our me time, to have our time. It's like we live in a society that we're doing. We're working a lot, then we're doing for everyone else. We're putting everyone else first, and feel like, you know, we're made to feel like we're being selfish if we're doing for ourselves, you know.
Connections.
And so,
Slowing down.
I'm sorry. I think the internet is kind of messing up a little bit. Are you hearing me? I think the internet is messing up. Let us know if you hear us both okay. But you know, the challenges of doing lives, you're live and sometimes the internet just messes up. But you know, it's so important for us to be able to like have our, you know, and just be relaxed, do for ourselves without any guilt, without feeling bad, loving up on ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. We deserve love. We deserve to feel good. We deserve to feel peace. That's our nature. That's our innate nature, you know? So, real quick, hello to those who are just now coming on. Let us know if you have any questions, any comments about Yoni Steam, anything that you might want to know. We're here. We still got a few more minutes. So ask away. If you're new to my YouTube channel and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you're enjoying this conversation, give me a thumbs up. Share this with someone else who might be able to enjoy or get something from this. And also, if you're new, hit that notifications bell. That way you can receive messages for when I am going to be airing my lives as well as my newest and latest videos. So yes. And you can find me on Instagram at _Tantra, Twitter or Facebook at Renee Adolph. Patreon, I just want to say real quick, Patreon is awesome.
No, I didn't say
it's my membership
anything.
Where you know, join for membership, and I have self-exploration Sundays, Monday meditation, Tantric Tuesday, giving tips and tools about Tantra, and then my website, Prandada Prem. So I think we might both kind of be talking at the same time. I don't know with this internet that's messing up. So Rainy Woman says, I've made self-care priority. I'm saving myself so I can save myself. Yes. And so speaking of that, Princess, I'm going to go, can you talk? And I'm just going to go talk about self-care, sexuality. I'm going to get this router here and see if I can open the door and get the internet to work a little bit better. That's our innate.
Yeah. And we need it. Healthcare.
I self-exploration.
I know, I know.
Um, Deborah said I cannot hear you. Deborah, you can't hear
Yes.
Princess?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
coming back in now.
Yes. I mean, really, it is a part of our nature. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Self-care is so super important. It's important just for our livelihood, just to balance and offset everything that we deal with work or with family. It's definitely a time for us to rebalance ourselves, and you need it. You can't just go, 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 and then expect to have a homeostasis or, you know, um, or be healthy. You need everything. You need, a little bit of agitation, but you also need the antithesis. You need the opposite of that.
Okay, so I think, all right, so I don't know if people can hear me. I think Princess just stopped talking, but my internet was like going in and out, and I really couldn't hear anything she said. I tried to change my router connection and turn off the Wi-Fi for my phone and open my door for it to get better, but I don't know. So, Princess, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Now it looks like it's completely frozen. So, oh man, it looks like it's completely frozen. So, yeah, I don't know if it's yeah, internet is acting up bad, but again, I want to thank you guys who came on and was able to listen to a lot of this. Connect with Princess on Instagram at Yoni Throni. Be great. She sells Yoni thrones at the Yoni Throni, as well as different herbs. So that's going to be great. Let's see. I see. Okay, Liz August said that you can hear me, but it's freezing. Yeah, we're going to wrap up because the internet has gotten really bad right now. I'm not sure why, but thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for the comments and sharing. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at _Tantra, or also Sacred Soul Retreat on Instagram, or Twitter and Facebook at Renee Adolph, Patreon, Patreon Prandada Prim, or go to my website at www.prandadaprim.com. So just to give a little summary about Yoni Steaming. Yoni Steaming is so good. There's so many benefits. Again, I just want to say, don't Yoni Steam if you're on your period, if you have an infection, if you have a fever or hot flashes, or if you use a IUD. So those are some things to kind of think about. Are you back, Princess?
I'm back.
Okay, we hear you. All right. So, do you want to give just a little summary of? So, was it your computer, your internet, or mine?
I have no idea. It just started saying the page was unresponsive, so I just got out and got back in.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's probably mine.
It looks like I don't know.
Yeah, it looks good now. Yeah. So, do you want to give a little summary? What anything you want the people to take away from this, like in terms of with the Yoni Steaming, the benefits, a nice little summary takeaway for folks?
I want people what I want people to take away from this is educate yourself on Yoni Steaming. Of course, you're more than welcome to come over to my IG page, Yoni Throni, and check out my stools, which I call thrones. But women or men, I don't want to just make it for the women because obviously there are benefits for the men, but I just want women to get more information because a lot of times, whatever you're dealing with can have a natural and a more gentle, what am I thinking of? a more
cure, like something
more natural, a more gentle treatment is what I was thinking of saying. More gentle treatment than going to the doctor and getting an antibiotic or some other medication. You may be able to gently treat it at your home with your own steamer, or you may be able to go into a practitioner and get your own customized blends. But just to educate yourself on Yoni Steaming, it's something that's been around for centuries. It was written on the papyrus in Egypt. It's it's all over Asia. It's ancient in places in Europe. So it's not a new practice. It's just something that, unfortunately, because of the state of our healthcare system, it's gone more underground. Because these were things that used to be women's health until men took over, and now it's, drug them and cut them. So, so try nature first.
Yes, I like that. So try nature first. So again, you can reach Princess on Instagram at Yoni Throni. You can reach me as well on Instagram at _Tantra or Sacred Soul Retreat. Facebook, add me on Facebook. Again, so those of you who don't know me, every Wednesday I do a live, and my mission is to normalize talks on sexuality, to normalize sexuality, to get rid of the stigma, to get rid of the taboos. We don't talk about sex enough. Like, it's something that we bury and we hush, hush, hush and talk, and we can't even talk to our families about it, and sometimes not even our friends, you know. But this is something that should just be so normal to talk about. Like, it shouldn't be taboo. We shouldn't have issues. We should be able to just freely talk about, you know, if we have an infection, like, what does that mean? What could we do for that infection? Or, you know, COVID virus, my spouse is not wanting to kiss me, and what should I do about that? Like, things we should not be embarrassed to talk about, you know, just sexuality, like, you know.
And how about we don't respect sexuality in sex?
Right.
Because I know I'm not the only one who thinks this. I mean, the energy of sex is so powerful, and you're able to manifest through that. And I know that personally. And I just feel like sex doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Right.
It's kind of like this little thing, and like, we done.
Right.
You
And
know,
sex is so spiritual. Yeah, it takes you to a whole nother level, you know. So that's my goal with having these lives every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also have tons of videos on vibrators, on masturbation, on everything. How to get a G-spot orgasm, how to give a G-spot orgasm, anything you want, it's on here. So check out my videos. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Thank you so much, Princess, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful. I love this. Thank you, everyone, for your questions and for watching. And I will see you at Yoni Throni.
Yes. And we're out.